Hey man, this is the coach.
And I'm the Beacon, and this is the Point Blank Perspectives podcast.
Hey Beacon, man, what's you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Okay. Well, what you want to talk about today?
Well, even though I'm good, the topic that's on my mind today is stress.
Wow, that's big.
And
That's big.
you know, I'm not necessarily in a place where I'm stressed, or at least I don't think I'm stressed right now. But it's a topic that's really important. It's something that I know everybody deals with. And I know here on the podcast, the whole goal of it was for us to talk about things from a male perspective. And I know it's a lot of men out here dealing with stress for a lot of different reasons. So I just thought, we would have a good conversation about that today.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of what you're saying, us as men, and we that wear it doesn't matter what your color is, your nationality, whatever. If you are a man, God knows we know you are stressed.
Right.
You
And to
know.
be honest with you, even when you older, younger, like that stuff don't matter either because you got stress. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about stress. So I guess in talking about stress, first we got to identify it. So what is stress to you, coach?
So you're asking me what do stress look like? Because that's basically what does stress look like to everybody? It looks different.
Right.
It's the same, but it's different.
Right. But I'm asking you specifically when it comes to
Okay.
you. What is stress to you?
Stress to me is, when I'm worried about something, and I may not really have to worry, but I worry anyway. From family life, my wife, kid, uh, uh, just work, just making sure when I get up in the morning, I'm gonna be truthful with you. When I walk out that door, 3 o'clock in the morning, nothing happens to me. I'm stressed that when I walk out that door and my family's good.
Right.
I don't get a phone call, nothing like that. That's stressful.
Right.
And then I drive trucks for a living. So I'm stressful every time I get on the road. And I hate to say this, and please don't bash me. Some of y'all people, when I need to say this, man.
Uh-oh.
I really need to say this.
I've been working on getting that censor button too. I don't know why I ain't get it.
Yeah, I really need to say this, man. And I'm representing the truck drivers. Y'all people that's in these cars, for the love of God, will y'all, sometimes, and I'm wrong when I'm getting ready to say this, sometimes I just want to run them right into a guardrail. Because it is very stressed out. Okay, you want to cut me off. I can't go that fast. It's stressful. That's one thing I think about. Just in life general. Am I raising my son to be able to make it in this world? That's stressful.
That is stressful.
To any. Since we're talking about males, that's stressful to any man that has a kid.
Yeah. Right.
Will my kid make it out here? Because being out here is stressful
It is.
enough. Those are some of the things that I think about that stresses me out. And what about you?
I mean, it's a lot of things that stress me out, man. I don't have the kids, I don't have the wife, but I mean, I have nieces and nephews. I have siblings, I got parents, so I think about all of those things all the time. Am I being the right role model for my nieces and nephews? What are they dealing with? How can I help them? Even my cousins. I got cousins and friends, and I'm just one of them people I care a lot about the people that I spend my time with. So I'm always worried about people, but I try not to let it overwhelm me or consume me too much.
Okay.
Because that's dangerous. But in terms of just my stress and the things that I'm always worried about, it's more so like a performance thing with me. It's almost like am I being my best self that day, or am I showing up the right way in the places that I need to show up the right way? So like when I'm at work, if I have any speaking engagements, when I'm mentoring kids, as an uncle, as a brother, as a son, as a cousin, like in all of those roles that I play, am I showing up the right way? And that's, for me, that's stressful because I'm one of those people to where I've had my share of, trials and tribulations or whatever, but I don't necessarily look at them that way.
Hmm.
And so what I've learned is that there are people that look to me to see how I respond to things, how I handle things. And so sometimes the stress is I have to be really careful with how I respond and how I act in certain moments because that one moment that you have a bad moment, that could alter the perception of how people view me or how people want to interact with me. So
That's true.
that's something. But then outside of that, um, just maintaining, like making sure that I'm taking care of what I need to take care of financially. Like, do you ever really have enough money? I mean, do you ever really have enough money?
That's stressful. That's stressful.
When you work for somebody, at any moment, because you're not owning the company, is something going to change? Might they go? Will they go in a different direction? Or
Yeah.
So it's just little stuff like that, and then the stress of the things I can't control, like God, I hope nothing happened to my car right now. Or,
Right.
God, I hope something don't happen with a family member. Like I hope nothing happened with my mom or my dad or my sister. Like
Right.
when your parents get older, you just worry about stuff like that too. So it's a lot of different. It's a lot of different ways that stress will come at you.
Right. And stress when you're married that's a total different animal. Cause it's being married is so many different moving parts that can just stress you out.
Right.
Like I was just saying, am I sometimes am I making my wife happy? And just a lot of things. And like I said, am I doing the best of my ability for my kid? And listen, I get it. I shouldn't say this. God, I shouldn't say this.
You always say that, man.
But
I always got to ask the disclaimer. You sure you want to say that?
Yeah, not really, but I'm going to say it anyway. And when you have a kid and your kid is growing up, that's very, very stressful. And like I said, going on with what the world is today, especially if, and I'm gonna say this, man, especially if you have a black male, a black son, and your son goes out there, you can't really help your son.
Yeah.
Us as black men, we know what our son will be going through. So that's stressful for that black man, for his son, that he don't get a call that his son is either locked up or killed.
Yeah. Especially here in Philly.
No, we not doing the city part. It's just in general.
No, I got that, but I'm just saying, like, there's some areas where you don't worry about that. Like, there's some areas, like, if people live in the suburbs, like, they're not as worried about that happening to their kid as we are in the city.
Okay, but
the people in Philly literally getting killed waiting for a bus.
Right, but what I'm saying, yeah, and you're right, and I'm looking at it as any inner city. Because me driving over the road and going to different cities and got to go past some of the inner cities, man, I couldn't tell if I was in Philadelphia or not. They all look the same, different things, but it's all the same, and just men, we feel you, men. We understand, and that's why we're talking about it, because it can be dangerous. It can, you have dudes, hair falling out. They so stressed out, my hair falling out, or I can't, whatever it may be. We laughing about it now, but people go through some, and I'm gonna say this again, men, we go through some stressful times. Like you said, when I get up in the morning, what is my routine when I get up in the morning? My routine is when I get up in the morning at 2:15, I move all my toes and I move my hands and I move my limbs. They hurt, it hurts. I'm getting a little younger.
I'm like, what? I'm like, why does that hurt?
I'm getting a little younger.
I ain't dead yet.
And the first thing I think, dear God, thank you for letting me get up in the morning. You know what I mean? I get a chance to do it all over again. And that's the way, I start my day off. Some people, especially y'all people that's in this corporate world, if I'm running
you always take a little subtle shots.
if I like you said, if I run a company, I'm even stressed out because people get up in the morning looking at emails. So it's rough.
So the question I have for you is,
okay, I'm listening.
When do you know you are stressed? Because you kind of touched around on what stress is and how stress has an impact, and we'll probably dive in that a little bit later. But in terms of knowing yourself, when do you know that you're stressed, or do you know that you're stressed?
Oh, sometimes I don't even know I'm stressed.
Right.
I think I realize I may be stressed about something if I'm thinking about it constantly. Mm-hmm. If that's on my mind, then it's like, oh, yeah, I'm stressed out, and it's all right. How can I stop being stressed out on this situation, because I may can't solve it at this present moment. Mm-hmm. Let me put it on the back burner. Oh, let me tell you this little story. Oh boy, this is a funny one. I'm driving over the road. I ain't gonna say the company, and I'm in New York, and I didn't realize I'm in a 53 footer.
Okay.
I didn't realize y'all people in New York, y'all vicious. I didn't realize they double park all the time, all over. I think I was in the Bronx. And so it's 6 a.m. Right. And I gotta go make a left down this little block to deliver toilet paper. I looked up like, I don't know how I'm gonna get down there, but so I went to go make the turn, and a little car, Toyota Corolla, pulled up on the X. Mm-hmm. He ran into the Poppy store. I stopped in the middle.
Oh, he was double parked.
He parked on the X. Now I can't even turn.
Oh, so you needed the space, but he was blocking where he wasn't supposed to be parked.
He pulled right there, and I couldn't even. And so now I stop in the middle of the street. I'm very stressed out because I'm in a 4-way section, mm-hmm. and now it's like, oh my God. People honking at me. I'm like, I'm not even from this state, this city.
They're like, move, a-hole.
And I'm like, oh gosh. And I'm like, oh my God, that's stressful. Then all of a sudden, I hear the police. Now I'm really stressed. I'm like, God, I don't believe this. So the cop come up, mm-hmm. Yo, you got to move this truck. Mm-hmm. I'm like, listen, man, I can't move this truck because the car is there. Mm-hmm. He said, listen. Move this truck or take this $1,500 ticket. Well, stress was just like through the roof. I'm like, oh my God. So what did I do as a respecting the law? I started moving the truck. And I'm going to tell you, this is where my stress just left out the window. Mm-hmm. When I started making that turn, I'm tearing this dude car up. And I'm just scraping it all up. I'm looking up like, oh, the stress is now leaving me.
As you're tearing somebody else's car up.
I'm tearing this dude. Because as a truck driver, this is one of our greatest gifts. To just tear your goddamn car up. Yeah. And I'm tearing this dude car up. He comes running back out. The stress came back up again. I'm like, oh my God, he gonna get me. And the cop said, I told you to keep on moving. Again, the stress went away because I just tore his car up and I just went down. And I see the cop look like, that's your car? Just writing them tickets. You know how I wasn't no more stressed.
You was relieved of stress?
I was relieved of stress. The cop relieved me of that stress. Shout out to that police officer that relieved me of that stress. But
I didn't see the end of this story saying a cop relieved stress.
He relieved my stress. but so those are that's some of the stress that as far as working.
Yeah.
And so at your job, you don't have to. We're not gonna get into what job, what company you work for. That's irrelevant. What are some of the things that stresses you about your job? Oh God, your face.
Boy, we ain't got enough time to talk about the stress on my job.
Wow. Okay.
No, but I mean, it's always. I mean, working in corporate America, especially for a big company, it's always just a lot going on. Always a lot going on. You always trying to, especially in the line of work that I do, because I work in IT.
Okay.
So you always got to make sure that the people that you're supplying IT for are satisfied with what they have.
Oh. Okay.
So in my line of work, I'm making sure that people in the business are fine. I'm making sure that the people that are building the sites and responsible for supporting the different digital tools that we put out to advertise our products, making sure all that stuff works properly. But that's just the role itself. There's also other things. So in parallel to just doing your day job, and some people might know this, I mean, you get called into other initiatives or you have projects that you're working on, but then you get other little side things that might go wrong that you have to address. It's almost like work. It's almost like being at home. It's like, okay, I know I got these chores that I got to do, but then all of a sudden something goes wrong that you're not expecting.
Okay, I got
So it's
you.
like, oh, I got to take care of my kid. Oh, I got to do the dishes. But the ceiling just fell in my son's room. I wasn't planning on that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's always just stuff like that if I had to compare it to anything.
Okay.
But yes, it's a number of different ways that you can be stressed at your job. But what I've learned is that stress at the job is not good for you. So what I try to do is I've learned, or I've seen over the years, a lot of people take their work stress home with them.
Okay.
And I've learned, one, that that's not good for you. And two, I make it a point that before I leave the office, I've done everything that I could do for that day so that by the time I get home, I'm home.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, but when I first started my job, I didn't do that. Like I would leave work early, I would go home, work, and then be online all late and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not realizing how much stress that's causing me. And that's why I asked the question initially of, when do you know you're stressed? Because I know there's been a lot of times in my life where I've been stressed and I didn't realize I was stressed.
I agree with you.
There's been other people that's always pointed that out to me. That's been like, "Yo, what's going on with you, man? You good? You all right?" And a lot of the times it's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good." But then when I had some time to kind of sit and think about it, or just really sit in how I felt in that moment,
Right.
it was like, oh snap, like I'm upset and I didn't even realize I was upset, or
Right.
I'm angry about something, I didn't even realize I was angry, or the thing that I keep saying wasn't really bothering me that much. Oh, it actually did bother me. I'll give you a perfect example. So death, there's been deaths in my life that have really bothered me, but I've never really sat still enough to deal with them.
Oh, wow.
So, like for example, like when my grandmother passed away, my father's mother.
Okay.
Her and I were really close, but when she died, she died unexpectedly.
Okay.
So that was the first part of that. But immediately when she died, because I was the only family member that lived in Philadelphia. All the rest of my dad's siblings don't live in Philadelphia. So I was like the only direct family member that she had that lived in Philadelphia. So when she died, they called me and asked me, because she died like in the house.
Oh.
So they called me.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, this was almost 20 years ago at this point.
Okay.
But
still.
But I'm just saying, yeah, I appreciate that. But I'm just saying, so I go to the house and they're saying that we need you to identify the body. So I go there, she's laying in the bed, looking peaceful and everything, but obviously she's dead. Like I said, her and I were really, really close. I didn't even have time to really process that part of it. Because immediately when I saw that happened, or when I saw that this was the situation, now I immediately have to get into responsibility mode. Because now I got to call everybody in our family, let everybody know that she passed away. I got to be sensitive to this because this is like midday. So I'm like, I don't know people if they're at work. I don't know if they're driving. I don't know if they're having a good day, a bad day. So it was so much anxiety in that moment of, one, my grandmother is dead.
Right.
I'm in the house with my dead grandmother,
Wow.
but I'm also in a situation to where I have to hold myself together because now I have to let everybody know, hey, like our grandmother just passed away or your mother just passed away, and we got to figure out what the next steps are. And so the reason why I'm bringing that up is because in that moment, I didn't realize how stressful that was. I just reacted.
Okay.
But I realized, one, the day of the funeral, because that was probably the first day that I had to kind of process everything. Because up until that, I was calling people, letting them know what happened, talking to the cops, trying to figure out, what to do in terms of getting the body out and trying to figure out what the next steps are with, planning the funeral and all of that kind of stuff. Like it was a lot of stuff that I had to just jump right into. And mind
Okay.
you, I'm still working. I'm still going to school at this time. I'm still doing a bunch of other things. So there was no time for me to really like slow down. So the stress didn't hit me until like weeks or days later. And even then I didn't really deal with it, but I just knew in those moments that it actually did bother me.
Okay.
And so now and the reason I'm saying death is because I've realized that I'm a person that I don't necessarily process death in the moment that I hear about it or in the moment that I see it. I process it in bits and pieces later on in life.
Okay. Okay.
So even though my grandmother died 20 years ago, I still have moments where it creeps up on me and it bothers me.
Right.
So,
Right. And you know what? And I'm sorry to hear that. And when you're stressed and you talking about someone that you were very, very close to, and so it had me start to think, how do us as men handle stress when we're in a relationship, single or married?
yeah.
And as far as married men, us as men, we handle things differently. And this is what I believe. You handle things on what someone showed you how to handle it, or what you was taught.
Right.
Same thing. So that's the only way you know how to handle something. A lot of times we sit up there, and this is where it get dangerous when we're talking about a relationship, where you're so stressed out, and then it's like a volcano, and then you will explode on a person that didn't really deserve it.
Right.
And that's unfair to the person, but it comes back to what you said. You didn't know that you was even stressed out.
Right.
And one little thing and bow, and that's a shame, or you explode on, as far as married. I'm talking married. Mm-hmm. You explode on your wife, or your kids. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, what happened? What did I do? What did I say? Not realizing that, you stressed out.
And what you're talking about is really serious, and why this is a good topic to talk about, in my opinion, because the way that people lash out when they're stressed, that's different.
Yeah.
Like some people, they yell and they scream. Some people get physically violent.
Right.
Some people, they feel the need to be destructive.
Right.
It's so many different. Some people, they go to a vice. Like some people get stressed out and they decide they want to turn to drugs, or they want to do excessive drinking or excessive eating. So there's a number of different things that people do that are harmful to themselves in dealing with stress. Right. And again, there's a lot of times where people don't even realize that they're stressed, but they're doing these things thinking, oh, I just need a cigarette, or oh, I just need a cup of coffee, or oh, I just need this. And it's like, no, you need to deal with that.
Right.
You probably need to deal with that.
And a lot of times, there are times where you can't deal with something if you don't really know what it looks like.
Facts.
If I don't know I have a problem, I don't know what that look like, or I just don't want to deal with it.
Right.
So I'm a sweep it under the rug. Well, eventually it's gonna come back up.
Right.
And God has a funny way of, no, I need you to deal with this.
Yeah, no, that's real.
And you're going to deal with it. Oh, you don't want to deal with it? Now I'm going to force you and make you deal with it. And a lot of times, there are times where you get stressed when you don't know what the outcome may be. That is stressful. Oh, I don't know what the outcome, especially if you're going for a promotion. And you be like, oh my God, I hope I get this. Now you stressed out. Oh my God, I hope I get this promotion. I really need this. Well, you pray and be like, you know what, dear God, if it's meant for me, you'll give it to me. No, you ain't saying that because you thinking of, man, if I get this promotion, I get this money, I get to do this. And you thinking of, no, it's not like that.
Yeah. And with you talking about that, that also gets me thinking about dealing with stress as a young man versus just as an older man.
Okay.
Because I can tell you right now, when I was younger, I had moments where I probably have handled things better than I should have, but there was a lot of times in my life where I didn't handle things well. And so now I noticed that like my temper today is a lot more calmer than it was when I was younger.
I got you.
Because it almost seemed like my reaction to everything when I was younger, most of the time was always the wrong reaction.
Because you didn't know?
I didn't know, one, and two, I was always going off of my first reaction.
Okay. And I got to say this. You're a single man.
Yeah.
Golly, it's got to be stressful to be in the dating scene. It has to be stressful because you can't take them to Applebee's. You can't take them to Dunkin' Donuts. You can't take them here. I want to get.
You can take them to Applebee's.
Let me say this. I want to give a shout out to my wife. My wife do not stress me at all.
There you go, y'all. There you go.
I want to give a special shout out to Angela Renee Rice. I want to give you a shout out. Okay, that's my shameful plug. But can you help me out? What stressful as far as dating? What does that look like?
Dating is only stressful if you allow it to be.
Explain, please.
So, and I'm gonna say it like this. This is the best way I could probably say it.
Say it how I say it. Say it.
As a man, you know what your pockets can do.
Whoa. Okay.
As a man,
okay.
The woman that you're pursuing, you know what you're willing to do to, I guess, get that woman or get her attention.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, you shouldn't be doing anything that's outside of your budget and outside of what you intended to do with that woman.
Okay.
So that's how I see it. So for me, I don't look at dating as stressful because at the end of the day, if you come to me talking about all this 5-star stuff and I don't view the situation as that's shut down from the door for me.
Say that, please say that one more time. You don't what?
I don't know what I just said.
Oh Jesus! You say you don't view it.
If I don't view the situation as a 5-star dating situation, okay. I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Men, please listen. You guys that's out there in this dating world scene, whatever you want to do. The Beacon just told you some good advice, man. Really good advice. If you do not view this dating situation that you're in up to that level of money that this woman is asking you to spend on her, hey man, you know what your pockets is. Do not try to be like them people on social media. Stay in your lane. So you should stay in your lane. Am I correct?
Stay in your lane.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Okay.
But at the same time of saying that, I'm not saying that the women are right in setting all these standards and all that. Because one of the best sayings I ever heard in my life was, "A woman who asks for nothing will get everything, and a woman who asks for everything will get nothing."
Okay.
Meaning that the women that's out here setting all these demands from the door and doing all of that, for a guy like me, I'm not listening to nothing you talking about because I'm going to do what I feel like doing. If I feel like doing that, then we'll do that.
Okay.
But you're not going to come into a situation and tell me that this is the only thing that we're doing. Because once you do that, I'm not interested no more.
Okay. So let me say this, ladies. I am going to say, if you can get away with it, and you find somebody that's going to sit up there and this is what you're looking for, then go for it.
I agree.
I say go for it. So we're not bashing no women on what they do. No. the beacon is just saying for him. He's just talking about him.
Listen, man, you ain't gotta give no disclaimers.
Oh.
I said what I said.
Okay,
You ain't gotta give no disclaimers. Because the other half of the statement, like I said, the first half of the statement is a woman who asks for nothing will get everything. A woman who asks for everything will get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, actually, I just talked about the second half of what I just said, which is the woman who asks for everything, right? So the woman who asks for nothing, she gets everything. Because she's not coming into it telling you what she needs and what you ought to do in order to be with her and all of that. She's like, let me just see what happens. Like, let me just see what happens.
So that would, not to cut you off, so that means she's not going to put so much stress on that
Exactly.
young man.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the woman who comes in adding stress from the door, we ain't even went to where we going yet.
Okay.
I ain't even told you where we going yet, and you coming. Matter of fact, it's so bad that if you've been on a dating app, it starts off with, if you got this, don't swipe this way, and if you don't do this, then don't. Like, it's like demands. Like, people got
Seriously?
Yeah, no, it's real.
Wow.
It's real, bro.
Again, like I just said, y'all men that's in this dating scene, it's very stressful. And again, I want to give a shout out to my wife. I'm not stressed. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to give a shout out to your wife too. She a good wife, man.
Yeah, man. I'm fortunate, man. I'm fortunate that she chose me. That's what I must say. I'm fortunate that she chose me.
That's beautiful. Must be nice to be chosen.
Yeah, man, it is. But let's get back to the
stress of not being chosen.
Hey, listen, I can't speak on that. You know me.
Do I look stressed?
No, you don't. No, you don't. But so yeah, relationships can be very, very stressful.
It's not even just the romantic ones. I mean, when you stressed, I mean, it has an impact on all of your relationships.
Right.
Like your relationships with your family, your relationships with your friends. Because, like, again, when you stressed, sometimes you don't know that you're stressed, and even when you do know that you're stressed, sometimes the way that you handle it is impactful to the people around you. Mm-hmm. If you sitting there and you drowning yourself in eating or smoking or drinking or any type of vice, that affects the people around you. People don't want to see you, succumb into different vices all because you dealing with something bad.
Okay.
So that has a negative effect on those relationships.
So what about, is it stressful for a man that's struggling to find a job?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's stressful for anybody looking for a job. Looking for a job is a job.
Right.
Like, no, for real. Like, looking for a job is a job. You probably gonna fill out at minimum 10 applications, and you might get 2 interviews.
Wow.
Out of those 10 applications that you filled out.
Okay.
And then you might not get no job.
Okay.
Now think about all of the commutes that you probably made, or all the times you had to get dressed up, whether it was in person or virtual interviews. All of the interview questions that you had to answer, all the times you had to sit there and smile, or like, you go through so much to get a job, and it's so hard to get one.
Right, and then I understand why men be like, you know what, man, I'm getting tired of this. But the only thing I want to say is, men, don't give up. Just hang in there. It's going to get better. It right now may look bad for you, but just hang in there, man. So what do you say? And it's dangerous when you're stressful. It's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, we touched on that earlier.
Yeah.
We talked about how the way that you respond to your stress. Because even from a health perspective, and I had a situation one time where I remember when I was a kid, and I don't even remember what I was stressed out about, but I remember being stressed out, and I remember I couldn't walk. Like, it was no bones were broken or nothing. I couldn't walk. Like, for real. Wow. I couldn't walk for like a couple days, maybe like 3 days or a week or something like that. But I couldn't move my legs, and there wasn't nothing wrong with me or nothing. We went to the doctors, got checked out and all that kind of stuff. Everything was fine. But apparently I just was stressed out. And I had another situation in my life where I had hives. I broke out into hives because I was stressed. So I'm speaking from experience when I tell you stress can have an impact on your actual health and your physical body. So, You got to be careful with that, man. Like,
So my question is, for the both of us, or for whoever's listening, how do you remove the stress from your life, or can you remove the stress from your life? Would we say it depends on the situation?
well, the first thing is you got to identify what the stress is.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I don't deal with nothing that disrupts my peace, like in these days. And
Okay.
I always tell people I protect my peace at all costs.
Right.
I protect my peace at all costs. So
Right.
whether it's the person, whether it's a place, whether it's a thing, whatever it is that's causing me stress or that's bothering me, I'm not going to allow that into my space for too long.
Okay.
Now, if it's something that I need to deal with and it's stressful, I'll deal with it.
Right.
But I'm talking about those things that you actually have control over, because that's another thing too. A lot of times we stress over stuff we don't have no control over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing I always say is control what you can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because we spend so much time stressing over, like you talked about the job. Oh, I hope I get this promotion. I don't have no control over that.
Right.
All I can do is show up the best way, the best version of myself,
Mm-hmm.
and hope that they decide to give me an opportunity. That's
Right.
all I can do.
Right. Okay.
Once I've prepared and I've shown up the right way, and the interview is over or whatever that process is over, I've done everything I could do. I don't stress about that no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also learned in life that what's meant for me is going to be for me.
Okay.
So sometimes you stress out over something that you want
Right.
so bad, like you want this thing so bad,
Mm-hmm.
and it don't work out, and now you all stressed and depressed and all that stuff. Meanwhile, you look up and there's something else that you wasn't even considering or thinking about that's right there in front of you, or that ends up in front of you, and that ends up being 10 times better than whatever it was you were stressing over in the first place.
Right. And for as you get older, you it's a little button that you can hit when you get older. And I don't know if I can say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Say it.
It's the fuck it button.
Hey.
That you hit that butt, fuck it.
That's a
You
real
don't.
button.
You don't even care. Because just like you said, if I can't, but it comes with knowing yourself. If I can't control it and I have no control over it, like you just said, all right, well, okay, I ain't gonna stress out over it.
Right.
Or it's just a lot of things in life. Period. For me, it depends on the situation. And I'm always trying to see the way down the end if I can. Can I stop this?
Mm-hmm.
If I can't stop it, okay, I'm gonna just let it play itself out. Hope I don't get damaged too much in this. You know what I mean? It'd be like, all right, but so I guess the best way I think you can remove stress from your life is, me personally, watch how you move. You need to watch how you move, because the way you move in life will bring stress also. If I watch how I move, and I'm not talking about the stuff where I can't control. I'm talking about everything that I can control.
Right.
Okay, hold on, nah. And a lot of times we stress because we just don't think. We just, like you said, we just go. I'm you got 0 to 100. And there is no in between. It's just boom, you right there.
Right.
And it's like, oh man, now all of a sudden stress rears its ugly head because you did not think, you just reacted. Mm-hmm. And that's not good. Well, no, it's not really good. No, it is. It depends on what it is.
And you know what? In listening to you talk about that, one of the things that we didn't talk about is what we did, but we didn't really dive into it. But when I mentioned earlier, being able to identify what's causing stress, mm-hmm. that's really important, man. Because sometimes it's your spouse that's causing you stress.
Ooh.
Social media causes stress because everybody feel like they're trying to keep up.
Yes, indeed.
Those are two main drivers that you have control over, but in some instances you may not. Because you don't control your spouse, but you can speak to your spouse about.
But okay, so when you're talking about the way you can remove or somewhat remove the stress when it comes to your spouse, it's all about the communications. You have to be able to communicate, because if I can't communicate with my spouse, and my spouse does something and I never say nothing about it, but I'm getting stressed out about it, and my spouse don't know that this is irking me, then that's not my spouse's fault. That's my fault.
Right.
Because I never said nothing. And then when you do say something, it's a real big argument. Now you stressed out. I don't believe, and your spouse gonna say and think, well, I didn't know. You know, and you be like, well, you should have known. What? What? You talking to them like they should have known. What? Hey, come on, man. You joking me?
No, the next line be, well, how was I supposed to know that when you ain't never said nothing? You just supposed to know. What?
Right. Listen, and then when you sit back and think about replay after some spouses tell their husband, yo, you go sleep on the couch. And then you sitting there and you sitting like, oh man, let me go back over and think about how it went down. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, I was wrong. Oh man. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You know. So one thing I gotta bring up, stress.
Is it going to take us to a different point?
It may. Go ahead.
Right. No, because I was going to say another thing about spouse is choose the right spouse. Make sure you choose the right person from the door. So communication is key, but sometimes it's things that you see in the very beginning that you know are red flags, but you put it to the side because you say, oh, you know, I want to get this out of the situation, or they look so good, or this and that.
No, cause no. Say what it is. You want sex, so you will put some of the stuff to the side. No. Listen,
that's
let's
real.
keep it real.
That's real.
You know what? Oh man, I'm trying to smash this.
Right.
So you know what?
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to really be honest with yourself about the person. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's been situations where I knew almost immediately, like after either meeting somebody or talking to somebody or whatever it was, they said something or they did something or it was something that happened that let me know, for me, they were not for me.
Okay.
And you got to be honest about that, regardless of what they looking like, what they bringing to the table and all that. You got to be honest about that, because if you're not, you're gonna end up putting yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah, a bad situation and it broke at the same time.
Right.
A bad broke situation. That's what you're gonna put yourself into. Again, I'm gonna shout out my wife.
But no, my fault. I took you off your spot. You was about to talk about something else.
You know what? I have to talk about it. We gonna it's stress, but we're gonna veer off a little bit. And this need to be, you know, parents, stop living through your kids. You're stressing yourself out. You know, we talked about that.
Might be stressing your kids out.
Yeah. You know, men.
Your kid out there playing football, he really want to be a violinist.
You know, men, stop stressing your kid out when you ready to fight the ref.
Oh Lord.
Beacon, I have been out there to some of them Pee-wee League games.
Nah, I ain't even gonna hold you. One of our cousins be going crazy at some of them.
and I don't even know the parent, but and it was a one team playing another team, and it was a lot of black people on one team and a lot of white people on a different team.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the parents felt as though the other team was more superior than them. Okay? And the black team felt as though they was getting cheated.
Mm-hmm.
And as a black man, I felt so embarrassed. And I was even stressed out because I'm saying to myself, look at this fool.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see it, and their kids were small, and you could see it in their kid.
Wait, how old was the kids?
This was the
like, you talking about kids? Like
Pee-wee League.
So like 5?
Whatever the Pee Wee League, the Pee Wee go by.
I don't got no kids, bro.
I don't know. They go. I guess they go by pounds, whatever.
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
whatever the pound. And you can see on the kids' faces that they were so embarrassed, and that's stressful to those kids. And I was even stressed out. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
This is a little kid.
Right.
The these little kids, they out there having fun. Yeah, we want them to, do good, but parents, stay off the field. Parents, don't stress your kids out because now they can't concentrate on the game because they thinking about what you may do. And that was the sidebar. I seen it. And because I know every sport, football was just over. Football was over. Now we in the basketball coming around. And we know how parents is because all parents wants their kid. My kid gonna make it to the pros. Your kid may not be that good, and I'm just saying. So don't stress your kids out.
You ain't gonna get no argument from me.
No, you're right.
We already covered that topic. I already told you.
You're right.
If your kid trash,
your kids,
then your kid trash. It is what it is.
You're right. So yeah, man. That and removing stress. Just try to recognize and understand it.
So from a personal standpoint, because we talking about the importance of removing stress, but some of the ways that you can relieve yourself of stress. So some of the ways that I would mention that I do myself are I like to try to work out. I like to take trips. I try to call people. I try to, if I feel like I'm getting stressed, I try to put on music that'll like change my mood. I try to do anything that I can because again, I try to control what I can, right? So when I feel stressed, it's like, okay, what can I do to change my mindset or to put me in a better mood or to help me to relieve some of this stress? So, these are just some of the things that I'm naming that I do.
Well, for me, that button, I hit that button. That's the best stress relief it is. And also for me, I like a nice cigar.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I like a nice cigar, a nice glass of spirits. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about nothing. I could be sitting outside and I'm not outside. I'm in Hawaii somewhere. on the island.
This dude that learned how to teleport with his mind. That's how stress free he is.
and then stress comes back when that 7-year-old, Dad. Oh shucks.
Don't treat my young boy like that, man.
Dad, pizza,
That's
McDonald's.
Right. That's right. Get that pizza poppin'.
Oh Jesus. So for me, that's for me. I like to, if I can control it, it's like at work, my job is cool, but when I leave work, my job's whatever is at work, it stays there. Yeah. I don't bring it home.
No, you can't.
I stay. It stays there. I may tell my wife something I seen on the road. Oh, you bleed? I seen this person. So and I'm like, oh man. So, but other than that, it's for me. It's work is work. You still got to have a balance. Also, if you ain't got somewhat of a balance, that can be stressful.
Right.
We haven't really talked about. I don't know if we did, but money.
Yeah,
money makes it can be very, very stressful.
Yeah,
especially you want to go on trips or bills is coming up.
I was about to say the crazy thing about money stress is whether you got it or whether you don't got it, it can cause you stress.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's crazy. We put so much stock into money, and it's like regardless of whether you have money or you don't have money, it can cause you stress.
Right
now. Obviously, the stress types are different.
Right.
I mean, because somebody who has money is probably not worried about where their next meal coming from or whether they got a roof over their head versus the person that if they don't have no money, they worrying about simple things like that. But I'm just saying, it's not to say that people that have money don't have stress.
Right.
Because their stress might be that they got to take care of everybody in the family or they trying to run a business or they don't want to make a wrong decision. Maybe they might be one bad investment away from all the money they have and being gone.
Right.
So everybody dealing with stress, but that money one is a critical
right.
one.
And a lot of times we stress over bills.
Yeah.
they're coming no matter what.
Facts.
The bills will be there like the sun come up in the morning. Bills are coming. They're coming down the road. Here, we're coming. Here we come.
Yeah.
The bills is here. You know what I mean? And that's something you just can't stop. Now
You got a little control over it because it depends on the type of bills. So like,
okay,
you got to pay mortgage and rent.
Yeah,
you got to pay your utilities. But some of y'all credit card bills, some of them jaws, like I mean, y'all could have stopped spending a little as much as y'all was.
And that's a real, you know what I mean, that's a real thing, and that can.
I mean, I've been a victim of it, so that's why I'm talking trash because I've been a victim of that. I've splurged a little too much using a credit card or whatever, but
that can cause, especially in a marriage, money can cause stress big time, especially if it's a man and woman, and you know us as men, you know, I'm the man, I'm the leader, and all that. Okay, I get that, but you handling the money may not be your lane.
Right.
You may have to relinquish that power so your household is not stressed. You know what I mean? Let's give it real. You know, okay, yeah, you're the man. I get that. I get that. You know, you feel as though you need to run the household. I'm the man. I'm running all the money, but you don't know how to pay bills.
Right.
You know, you don't know about bill payer.
Right.
You know, Angie put me down with that. I didn't know nothing about bill pay until I met her. You bill pay, okay. Woo, no more stress. I ain't worry about that. But and money is big. You gotta know how to manage money. Like you said, some of us don't know how to manage money. Yeah. We get it before we spend it. Before we even get it.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Some of the money stress is self-inflicted.
Yes, it is.
Now, part of the problem is, like you said, some people don't know, you know, how they should treat their finances or what the impact is of not being responsible with their finances. So that's real. But at the end of the day, it's self-inflicted. And
yeah.
So, you know, people just got to get better with truly understanding the power of money and what all comes with how you spend it and where you put your money.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about money in one of these episodes, and we're going to dive into that.
You're doing all the talking because I'm broke.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm listening to you.
But yeah, you know, so that's how you can remove, you know, whatever you may do to remove stress, keep on, if it's not negative, it's got to be positive. Yeah. You know, if you got to talk to somebody, whatever, a lot of times that can, you know, you talking to your friend, you may can't talk to your spouse about whatever, and you may even find some, you know, one of your friends, but if you're talking to someone and you feel as though they're not giving you the best advice, don't tell them no more your problems. Don't tell them no more why you stressed out, because they can't recognize their self.
I was about to say, sometimes just talking about your stress is stressful.
Yeah.
Because if you don't truly know how somebody's going to react to whatever it is that you're telling them, or if you can truly trust that person with what you're telling them, that can be stressful. And I'm speaking from experience because I don't really talk to a lot of people about stuff that I deal with or things that I go through. Okay. I normally keep that stuff to myself, and I know that's not healthy, but I just don't really like to have people in my business like that. And I also don't feel like people should know everything about you.
Right. Okay.
So, but I will say that it is important to talk to people. So it's not that I don't talk to people at all, but it's like normally if I'm talking to somebody about it, it's normally because I've known them for a long time and we've built that rapport to where I can trust you and I know that. Right. Or it's something that's bothering me a lot, and I feel like even if you were to say something about it, it's not really that deep, but maybe it's just stressing me out, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason. But that's what I would say about the conversations when it comes to stress. It's definitely important to have somebody. And then, honestly, I've heard a lot of people, I don't personally have one, but I've heard a lot of people talk about therapy. Like, I've heard a lot of people nowadays talk about going to a therapist and how that's helped them and stuff like that. I personally don't have one.
Me either.
But, I mean, it seems to be working for the folks that I know that have it. So, I would also encourage folks that are dealing with stress and maybe they don't feel like they have a safe space. see if you can find a therapist that you can talk to, or maybe a counselor. Because I mean, hopefully, it's young people listening to this podcast too. So maybe a school counselor you could talk to, or a teacher, or I mean, just try to find somebody that you could talk to, man. Because I mean, life is hard enough, and when you're trying to go through it by yourself, man,
it's rough.
It's rough. So
it is super rough.
You gotta. Nobody makes it through this life alone. I don't care what they show you on social media, what they tell you. Everybody who's successful, they got a team or a village of people that help them to get there.
Right.
Even if they did something very small. Like I know, even in my journey of trying to get to where I'm at today, like my cousin and his wife, I used to go to school all day, and then I would work my job at night after school. But I would be hungry and needed somewhere to stay because my house was nowhere near my job. So they would let me stay over their house for like an hour or two, and then I would leave their house from college. Well, I would leave the college, go to their house for like an hour or two, and then I would go to my night job. And that was a huge help.
And he's talking about me, and we would feed him, right? Because we understood. So you're right. You need a safe space.
Yeah, I can't talk about my success story without talking about other people that helped me in different ways. So, because I know I've heard people mention me as like a success story or whatever, and that's cool. But it's like I didn't do this alone.
Right.
So I think it's important for people to understand that, man. Like, because a lot of people stress themselves out because they got these wonderful ideas or they got these wonderful products or inventions and stuff, but they don't want to share information with nobody.
Right.
And so you stressing yourself out trying to do every part of it by yourself. And it's like, no, you might need somebody to help you. You might need somebody to cook you some meals. You might need somebody to handle the money for you, or to do some of the technical work, or to handle the social media. Like, you might need some people to step in and do that.
Right. Yeah. And that's real talk. Real talk. Yeah. That's real talk from the Beacon. That's why he the Beacon, man.
He is I, and I am him.
Yeah. Okay. So, on that note, our final words. I'm going to say it again. Men, just hang in there. We know life is stress. We know life is stressful. But there's always a goal. And just stay positive. And this is coming from the coach. Beacon, you want to say anything?
No, I'm good. No, I'm just playing.
Oh,
no, I'm playing. Well, one, thank you for allowing us to talk about stress tonight, because normally we go off whatever energy you got. So I know this is the first night that I'm driving the conversation, so
it's fine.
So that was that. So that relieved my stress because I didn't know how this conversation was going to go. So on the topic of stress, man, I just want to encourage everybody to, be real with yourself, take care of yourself. Always be paying attention to the things that are disrupting your life, man. Protect your peace at all costs. And if you're dealing with stress and you don't know how to manage it, try to leverage some of the things that we talked about tonight, man. Try to find somebody you could talk to, exercise, take a walk, listen to music. I mean, anything that will put your mind at ease or relax you, man. Just try to do that. Because it's not good to hold on to stress. Because you hold on to stress too long, it can lead to all kinds of health problems and other bad things that you don't want to happen. Because all it takes is for somebody to be stressed out and have one really bad moment to ruin the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so, with that, that's all I got, man. But
I'll
stay up.
I'm the coach,
and I'm the Beacon, and this has been the Point Blank Perspectives podcast.